Welcome to The Partition, home of Kinky Wellness with Dana and Kat. Together, we give a new voice to kinky sexual wellness. We're not your average wellness advocates, so let's peel back the layers of kinky wellness and talk about it. In honor of our 69th episode, Kat and I are actually covering requests that one of our listeners sent in, which is everything to do with our belly buttons. To be honest, the request was sent at the end of April, but when I tried to email that person back, it bounced back saying that the email doesn't exist. So if you're still listening, this episode is dedicated to you and your fiance, and congratulations again. But we're going to dive into all things belly button related.
Yeah. Do you know it actually does have a name to have a fetish for your belly button?
Yes, the navel. There's actually I saw 3 of them. What is it? Elvin Ophelius.
Yeah, I saw that one.
I sorry if I butchered it here, but Elvin Ophelius, I'm gonna put that in the comments. Yes, because people can, to your question, can someone orgasm from your belly button? Yes. The answer is yes to your question.
I was going to say, so when I was doing my research, it kept coming up more with the female body than the male body. So apparently you can also stimulate the clit through belly button. And also a spot right underneath that can be.
Yes, because it said core as well. So my research said that women can and men can't, because it's how it's related is it's connected to your vagus nerve, which is a branch-like structure that connects to your brain, to your cervix via your belly button, and you can actually do through your core. So some people, when they're doing workouts at the gym, can experience an orgasm.
Ooh, yes. And that also makes sense why sometimes it feels a lot more heady, or like, what is it, more powerful orgasm if you press on the spot underneath your belly button as well. But yes.
Well, some people, like they said that sometimes even Madonna, I guess in an interview, let me see, sorry, where is that actual fact? Yeah, in 1985, Madonna brought some attention by saying when she plays with it, it feels like a shooting up her spine. And so that's what the research was saying, is some people have that connection so strong that even putting your fingers in your belly button, you can feel a tingle down there, like going off and like, oh my gosh, that's hot, I'm excited.
That's very interesting, because I know you can do it with your nipples as well. But yeah, so we had some questions
Yes,
that we were asked to cover for this episode. So would you like to begin?
So yes, the first one, as we just answered, is you can certainly get an orgasm from the belly button, but because it also shares some of the same tissues of your genitalia. So that is also exciting because it's an erogenous zone, because it has multiple nerve endings. And really, when it comes to belly button play, the goal is to excite the nerves around the entire area. But don't put too much pressure on it. So there is some things that you need to be aware of if you are going to it. Some risks to playing with your belly button is that you don't want to push down too hard on it, because too much pressure obviously can just hurt you. But also, if you don't clean it properly, you need your navel to be as dry as possible, because if you play with anything, because they do mention different types of sensation and things to play with, like inside of eating and like slurping things up, you need to keep it as dry to avoid fungal infections. Yes.
Yes, that makes sense. So as somebody who has got a piercing, like having to clean it quite regularly is a thing.
And there's no guarantee that this method is going to work for everybody. So I do want to stress that. So don't worry if you don't. But to another points that they make, like I do want anybody who feels like this, like we really need to normalize loving our entire bodies, because he had mentioned that we kind of feeling conscious about it. And it's crazy to me how we've been normalized to only love certain parts of our body, and belly button just unfortunately isn't one of them, even though you can still get an orgasm in some people, which is such like an unexplored zone, an area of your body.
Yeah, even though liking somebody with abs and like the navel itself is a really normal thing to find attractive on people.
Yeah, like those cut lines that go down, whatever they're called.
They're called the Venus dips, I think they're called. But
I heard a nickname for them. They were called cum gutters.
That's what my friend calls hers as well.
That's so funny.
I'm like, mine are under all of the chocolate that I eat.
But you had some questions that you found. You found the sensations.
Yeah, so I focus on a lot of the sensation play. With one of them asking about how to do a proper raspberry on the belly button. And one of the things I found it quite interesting, because it wasn't until I was looking at how to do it and like reading, it's so close to how you eat out a person. You think about it, you apply your lips against the skin, suction, and you're blowing, and like the only difference is you're blowing, but your tongue is against the skin as well.
Mm-hmm.
And then obviously how hard you blow is what makes the noise. And obviously it can be ticklish, it can be pleasurable. You can swirl your tongue as you're doing it for a bit of added sensation. It's very much like cunnilingus, just a little bit more noisier, is what I realized.
Well,
So
that's
it
the
makes
thing about
sense.
belly button.
Oh, you go.
Sorry, I was gonna say, well, that's the thing about belly button plays that can be used during the beginning, middle, and end. Like it's a foreplay or the main event for some people. And also, I do think that you could use it as aftercare, as like a body massage on your stomach. I think
Yeah.
that massages are underappreciated on this type of area as well.
No, I agree. And so one of the additional to this question was they asked, is it weird to do it? Because it is a thing, raspberries are things that get, you think of childhood, you think of play, like, when you're making babies giggle. Is it a weird to do it as an adult? And I think, well, no, it's not. Like, so long as you and your partner are consenting and you're both getting something out of it, whether you're getting pleasure, whether you're getting sensation, whether you are getting if we look at it as a form of aftercare or as a form of warming up before a scene, if it helps you guys have a connection, no, there's nothing wrong with it at all. Like, I know people who still enjoy biting, and that's still that's seen as quite a normal thing to do still. It
Yeah, I'm
isn't.
one of those.
Yeah, I do. I show affection by biting people. It
Yeah,
really annoys my best mate when I bite her shoulder, but it's love. you know.
love language.
Yeah, it's a love language. I wish that was. Music and biting are fine. But I think it's an intimate act that you do with your partner. I think so long as you both can enjoy it, no, there is nothing wrong. Which leads into the second one, which is, could you incorporate tickling and a form of tickling around the belly button? And I think yes, you can. So when I went looking for help on like how you could incorporate it in, it was very much the idea of like you tickle the sides more gently than you would when you're doing the belly, like the raspberry on the belly button, and it adds to more of a tickling sensation. The only thing I would say as a warning for this is obviously if your partner it gets quite squirmy when they are being tickled, just make sure that you're out of the way of all flailing limbs, because that will very quickly put an end to whatever you're trying to do. So yeah, I think so. Yeah, it is for added sensation, tickle the sides. And you can incorporate the sensations of play by using a feather as a way to stimulate as well on the belly button and inside the belly button itself as you are doing raspberries on a person.
Well, to your point about how we always relate this back to childhood, that's the thing about it too. What I always bring into imagination is like this invisible line between what you're allowed to do based on like this number that we're given. Oh, now you're reached a certain age, you can't enjoy this anymore, which I find ridiculous because there's no harm in it. And I also feel like you can connect through it, but it also gives a lot of like, life's not so serious. Like this is playful. This is going back to our childhood feelings. I do think we should be bringing more of the things that we enjoyed from our childhood back into our adult play. That's the beauty of BDSM and kink and just sexual wellness and kinky wellness in general.
Yeah, I think also as well, it really brings into this idea that people believe sex needs to be serious. Oh, even if you do impact play, even if you do BD, it has to be this super serious thing. It doesn't.
Mhm.
Sex is about connection, and it's about connecting with your partner. You can giggle during sex, you can tickle during sex, so long as everybody consents. And I think that is the biggest thing. So long as everybody consents and everybody is on the same page. If your partner doesn't like being tickled, no, they're not going to enjoy it if you tickle them. If
Yeah.
and I think that is a conversation about it. It's about, like you said, imagination and childhood and wonder, and bringing that sense of fun and joy, and that like innocent joy into sex should also be there as well.
Well, there was some points to it. It's like you can actually do so much with it. You can show it off, or you can decorate it through sequins, body paint, edible paint, belly chains, removable body piercings. If you don't have
Yeah.
your belly button pierced, even the clothes we wear, the crop tops, low-rise pants, midriffs. Like we have this type of fashion where it does show off that area of your body. And now that I like kind of now that I see this, it's I didn't realize how much there was actual interest in the belly button just like on a foot fetish level.
No, I agree. I think it's such like you said, we have so much that we do about the belly button and the navel within our day to day, within fashion, within different things, that it is interesting to remember that actually, yeah, to find out that there is also a kink about it and a fetish side of it was quite interesting for me because it's you know, I got my belly button pierced when I was 13 and then I've just never thought about it again and just gone, oh,
Mm-hmm.
it's something I've got.
I would love to be that person that could orgasm through their belly button. I would not say that's me. I tried it. I was like, can I do anything? I was like, I don't really feel nothing going on.
No, every time, I'll be honest, every time I think about it, I get like that weird squirmy feeling in my stomach, but not in an arousal way. It's in that, oh, I don't really like it kind of way. So
Well,
if you enjoy it, enjoy away.
to that point, your belly button is the first form of body trauma that you get from the cut of
Yes.
the umbilical cord. Now, there's actually a lot of like through even if you have digestive issues, it's actually in yoga, there's some things that they taught us that if you put your fingers together and you put them in your belly button and you slowly twist, you can break up pressure and things inside your belly button. And so, on a health level, I think that people should pay attention to your abdomen area, especially if you do have digestive issues. And it is something worth looking into if that's
Yeah,
something that you suffer from.
no, I agree. When I was looking at ways to stimulate it with like fingers and stuff, because I was like, first thing I'm gonna do before I answer any of the questions about sensation is like, can you actually orgasm? It was they did a lot of talk about like acupuncture as well and very similar kind of motions, and that's where it can help you form it. So
And
yeah,
cupping would be a good sensation play. I think that you could do on your stomach. Like, and that's a beginning, middle, or an end thing, depending on what it is, especially aftercare if you want to relax your body.
yeah, I know a few people who do enjoy their navel being cut, like the cupping of that. It's very relaxing, especially if you get quite tense in the abdomen. So yeah, no, I agree on that one. For me, I was like, not a thing for me.
Mhm.
Uh, but yeah, it was very fascinating.
But you
And
can also use ice cubes in the temperature play that he had mentioned for sure. Just make sure that you're using soy candles. Like, not just don't buy your candles off the shelf, guys. Please stop doing that. Please research your candles. They need to be specific and don't use ones with artificial dyes, guys. It's so
yeah,
bad for you.
there is, if you look on most sex shops or like sex toy websites, they will have the correct types of candles that you can use. They are specifically used to make sure that while you get sensation, you are not going to give yourself or your partner third-degree burns, because
Hmm.
that is not sexy, guys.
Safety is the name of the game. Like that's the thing too. Your plan and prep needs to come in, I think, when it comes to belly button play, especially if you're using food. It gets
Yeah.
messy quick. Like make sure you have extra sheets down if you're gonna do
Oh,
something like that, and make sure you clean out your belly button really, really well and dry it.
yes, because one of the things that came up, so I had to look at different things you could use, was obviously like champagne. I was like, oh, fancy.
Ooh, the
Chocolate.
special occasion belly button play.
I know. Could do it. You could use it if you got an outie. You could definitely use it to propose to someone. You could just put the ring on top of the outie with a little belly holder.
That's
That would
cute.
be so cute. One of the weirdest ones I saw was ketchup, and the only reason was I was like the smell.
Yeah. Ketchup.
Like, we've all, you know, when you've like, because all I can think of is, you know, when ketchup gets tacky, and I was
First
like,
of all,
oh
that
no,
shit's gross. It's disgusting. It's not good for you guys. First of all,
oh,
stop eating ketchup. Like, don't eat it. It's bad for you.
honey was another one I heard. You can drizzle honey and lick it out. But again, I think, like you said, it is remembering if you use especially something that is quite tacky and has a habit of leaving a residue, clean
Mhm.
before, clean after, and then double clean it again, because the last thing you need is a fungal infection and having to explain to your doctor how honey got in your belly button.
Yes. I think people underestimate fungal infections because you can get them even when it's just, first of all, maybe TMI. It's not, but I used to be that girl that sat in her towel wrapped around her for hours, and I got a fungal infection just in a straight line around my completely where I used to sit with my towel. Yeah. And when I went in to the doctor, he looked at me and he just says, let me guess, you're one of the, and he said that to me. That's why I say it. You're one of those girls that sit in your towels, aren't you? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, stop doing that. That's what's giving you this.
It's the same as like people are, because we spend a lot of time wearing our headphones now. It's why things like ear infections and getting infections in the ear canal is becoming really normal because people are having their headphones in for too long.
Oh, that
And
makes total sense.
yeah, and it gets like hot and it gets wet in there and it does that. Talk about TMI, like you can get it as well if you've got your nipples pierced. So I don't have anything, thank the Lord, but I had to take out my nipple bars and clean them because I noticed that they were starting to get a bit manky. I do it often anyway. But oh my God, my nipple was aching. I was like, it's always a weird sensation when you take it out anyway. It's like,
Mhm.
but yeah, just because of that, people leaving things in for too long, and people do it with navel bars where they forget to clean behind it and end up getting I do realize that alongside talking about our guest the guest episode, we have also gone into the whole thing of being clean alongside belly button stimulation. So I hope we've been really helpful on all sides of it, so you can do before, during, and after belly button fun.
Yes. Well, I got some good facts about it too. So, for instance, in India, the belly button is seen as a sensations or erotic part of the body. So, we have other cultures that look at it the same way that we look at tits and ass, right? So, they come out with, their stomachs out and like a hot navel and a sari. So, that makes total sense that it would be like a culture thing. So, maybe not so much in the West that we view it as much as like in India as a erotic part of the body, but it is. It is.
It, so I think we do. Maybe we don't necessarily focus
Subtly.
on, yeah, we don't focus on the belly button specifically, but we focus on the navel. So much of our fashion is focused, especially as women, around framing that area. Your high-waisted jeans stop just below your navel.
Yeah.
Unless you're me and I'm really short and I've got like high-waisted jeans, but they come up to my ribs. But you know what I mean?
No,
Like
but I
they
do
stop.
think that they know that when they make our clothes. I do think that it's one of those things like somebody knows that it's an erotic part of the body, but they haven't really verbalized it out to us. Because even in the 1970s, there was a short-lived belly button magazine of which there was only 2 issues, and they were
Oh,
covered by the Kinsey Institute, and it literally was everything to do about sexual acts in the navel. Like just a magazine straight up for it. And there's only 2 issues, but who cares? Somebody went out of their way enough to be like, I want a magazine dedicated just to this.
I love it. That's amazing. And I think as well, like we do, yeah, we put a lot of focus on that area of the body. Like how much do we, for even like when we talk about the perfect body shape,
Mm,
your navel plays a big role in how you view that.
yeah.
Whether
Yeah.
you've got abs, whether you don't.
Well, we focus a lot on the stomach in general about like what it
Yeah.
shouldn't. You're right. Like, is it flat? Is it a flat stomach? Like, is it a flat? And even the innie and the outie comment that he made. So some people have not seen an outie
Yeah.
belly button, and so you can get excited about it, and I think that that could be a reason why, and I think that's fair when you haven't seen something before and you're like, wow, that's so interesting, I love it, I think it's so cute because it is more than just a cute
Yeah.
scar.
Yeah, I was going to say with the whole outie thing, when it comes to things like with the raspberry, I think you can do it completely the same. But when it does things like sucking on it and stuff like that, I do think you'll get added sensation. So maybe don't go as hard.
Yeah, well, that makes
Like,
sense.
yeah, it's like with the nipples, I think. Like less is more sometimes.
Yes. Well, there's like around the world, there seems to be a lot of things. So in Japan, they had an annual belly button festival that started in 1969, which is funny because that's our 69th episode.
Wow.
And it was a festival that would unite the community. And so that's why they chose the navel because we all have a belly button and I
That
thought
is
that
so
was so cute.
that is so cute. I really love that. Oh.
Yeah, and then again in 2012, navel fetishism was the second most popular fetish searched on Google as per their global monthly averages. So those the second. Like I know that's 10 years ago, but still that's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, because you think like we've only just really thought about it for this episode because we got asked to look into it. Yet there's people who have been
Well, we have cultures
looking.
that are dedicated to it, that work around there, and they don't focus on the
Yeah.
tits and ass the way that we do over here. So I do think that culture plays into it. And again, culture plays into how we view our bodies, like what is deemed acceptable or weird to like and what is not.
Yeah. And yeah, these are very like the body parts are all very common things that we have. It's like with foot fetishes and people enjoying toes.
Yeah, well, I think they're little beans, little beans. The whole joke about that, and an outie could be a little bean as well, like in its own way.
Little cute little bean. Oh, I love
But
that. Mine's got a scar above it. I've got like, so I had a hernia when I was born. So I've got a scar. It's why I got a bit piercing, but I forget that I've got it. The only reason I had to remember again was my friend waxes me. And as he was waxing me, I was just in like a little crop top, and he was like, "Oh, you've got a scar over and like on your stomach. Did you know about that?" And I was like, "Yeah, I had a hernia when I was born."
mhm.
So yeah, so I think I've got a very dull, like that area has always been quite dull for me because I'm like, because I have scar tissue there. So
Well, I do think that people need to consider if they are thinking about piercing their stomach, because I knew a girl where she got her stomach pierced and her body rejected it, and then it was two little claws looking pieces of skin that had not reconnected after her body pushed out the piercing. So yeah, like people need to understand that sometimes your body is not going to accept the piercings we give it.
yeah, it's the same for tattoos. If you get tattoos across like certain parts of your body, it can reject ink. Saying that, my stepdad actually has his belly button tattooed. He's
Oh,
got a tattoo
wow.
across his stomach. It is the trashiest thing I've ever seen a white man have.
That's
It's
hilarious.
because he was born of the year of the snake. He has got a snake across his stomach.
Hmm.
Or it looks more like as I call it, his water dragon because he's put on weight. Um, and then my friend went, "That's really trashy. What, does he have another one that says made in Plymouth on him?" And I was like, "Yeah, right underneath." So he's got a snake that incorporates the belly button, and then he's got made in Plymouth tattooed on right underneath the snake.
That's hilarious.
Right? And we judge women for getting butterfly tattoos on the bottom of their back.
That's
I'm
true.
like, you don't get to call a woman's tattoo a tramp stamp when you have got the white, trashiest tattoo I have ever seen.
That's jokes.
Yeah,
I think the belly button is an underrated area of the body. I think the stomach in general
yeah.
really is, because I think that's an area that you should be massaging more often. Like we talk about massaging, like I see little babies like their whole body massages and how good it is for your body, and then you go up and like little kids get massages, and then at some point you become an adult and we miss it. But there's a lot of internal organs down there that need care and attention, and you can actually find out a lot of issues that are wrong with you through pushing down on pressure points in various areas of your stomach. So that's why
Yeah.
it's so important that when you do enter this type of plays, don't go too hard, because there are organs underneath there you guys need to be aware of, and you don't want to hurt anything irreversibly damage on that.
Yeah, it's the same with like inserting things in, being careful not to go too deep just because you can cause pain, you can cause issues with the stomach, and also you can get dirt trapped under there.
And for a really sad part, like as I was going into this, there is some dark sides to this. A Vice article quoted that sex workers from Turkey said that men would try to forcibly have sex with their wives through their navel to the point where it would bleed. So that's definitely an assault. But yeah, like that's a culture out in Turkey that Vice did about navel and how they treat it out there. And again, it comes down to another culture, because I've never heard complaints or situations like that out here in Canada. And I'm not saying that that doesn't happen, but like that specifically came out of Turkey.
I've never heard about people trying to like put a penis in there. I've heard about people, obviously in the West, it's a big joke about, people getting it in the wrong hole, but that's usually well away from the navel area. But
Hmm.
That's sad. That's
Yeah.
really that's a dark note.
Yeah, so it's definitely don't go over it because it could affect your partner's gut or make them gaseous, in case you're just wondering about that, in case something comes out and you're like, "Oh, sorry." But also, like, in a sense that if you are feeling kind of gassy,
Might
maybe work
help.
on your stomach. Like, maybe you could help yourself that way too.
Agreed, agreed. And also with massages, that can help with people who are gassy as well.
So oils, like, make sure you get a proper massage oil for you and, like, look into more organic things because the chemicals that are inside some of these oils and toys is just,
Can have
man,
massive.
it's fucking sabotage in its own right.
Yeah, I agree. It's look for natural stuff. If you know any like natural like brands that work very well on like sustainable ones and stuff, that's probably better for your skin. You're less likely to have a reaction. You're less likely to have nastiness on your body. So
I think that is something because I would like if my husband wanted raspberries and like stomach play, I'd be down to like do that for someone. But I don't think that me personally, I don't get a lot of stimulation out of it. I've already tried, like I just mentioned that, but I don't think because I don't, it's not like one of my favorite areas to guess give
no,
attention to, but I think I would use it more for the aftercare, like massages and cupping and warm sensation of wax play on your skin. I think that that would be nice and more of like a healing aspect to if like when I incorporate it in, it would be part of probably my aftercare.
no, I can see that. I think that that would be the same for me, especially the idea of like having a partner hold me and putting their hand on my stomach would be that I would enjoy that, but not the act itself. I'm the opposite. Like for me, like I said, like I thought about it and I already got that all feeling. However, mine and my nipples, like I've got very sensitive nipples if it's a partner doing it.
Mhm. Mhm.
But I think it's like you said, not everybody has got the sensation. I think it is just to do with the way the body is.
Yeah.
Um, but I don't like being tickled anyway. I never liked raspberries. As a kid, I was that child that was and then accidentally kicked my sibling in the face. You know, the normal things.
That's funny. Well, I think
But
that people need to bring attention to their stomach, especially because we battle such like weight issues in just society in general. So I think that people tend to shy away from giving their stomach attention. And even in the last, like the one podcast that we did for the book, people suck in their stomach during sex sometimes if
uh,
they're self-conscious. So we have issues out here in the West with how we view our stomach.
yeah, and yet we've got massive gut health. Like I
Massive
think
gut. Yeah.
like the amount of people who, because your gut is also connected to your mental health as well. So, like people with severe anxiety and depression, you are likely to have IBS or to develop issues with being able to handle certain foods. I say as a lactose intolerant who absolutely loves cheese. But it is, yeah, I think the whole area is something we need to be more careful of, like more considerate to.
I think it, yeah, it definitely needs more attention. And I'm glad that we got this request in for the belly button because
Yeah.
as much as we're giving you guys information, I can tell you that I certainly learned a lot. And I definitely appreciate all the requests or any requests that anybody gives in because it gives us an opportunity to learn and grow and share this information. And maybe there's someone out there that realizes that, oh my God, I can get an orgasm from touching myself there. Holy fuck. And that's the whole point about talking about sex is spreading pleasure around.
Yes, having open communication about pleasure is definitely needed. So if you guys do, let us know how you stimulate your belly buttons. Please
Yes,
do. And
please
if you
do.
have any ideas, please do as well. We're always looking for new ideas for episodes.
But thank you so much for that. And I hope we answered all your question and gave you everything that we could find out about belly button play. And have yourself a great day.
Bye.
Well, that's it for us. Make sure to follow us on Instagram to stay up to date. You can find me at thepartition_life. And you can find Katrina at _satisfiedcat. Thank you for listening. Tune in next week. And as always, stay kinky.